It's almost time for the new season of The Bachelorette to premiere. As Rachel Lindsay's season gets closer, host Chris Harrison is speaking out to give fans a look into how the contestants were picked for Rachel's season. Chris is also giving fans a little insight into why one of the men on Rachel's season will either be loved by fans or make fans want to kill him. ABC News caught up with Chris to get the scoop on how the casting process changed for Rachel's season. Chris shared that since Rachel is 32 and a bit older than previous Bachelorettes, as well as a Dallas attorney, they wanted to search for men more Lindsay's age. Along with being older and somewhat more mature, Chris also shared they wanted the men competing for Rachel's heart to be a bit more on the professional level. As a result of the new standards they were looking for, Chris said most of the men selected for Rachel's season are a little bit older, a little bit more accomplished. Chris also added, "You couldn't have a 21, 22-year-old frat guy coming in, looking for love. That's not who Rachel's going to end up with. If you look at the bios, and I know some of them are funny, but even the tickle monster, Jonathan, is actually a doctor. We have a lot of doctors. We have our personal trainers and our male models as well, there is one of each, but that's important. You really want to have that wide spectrum because she doesn't necessarily want a lawyer. She might, but that might not be what she's looking for." Chris didn't take away from the fact that Rachel is the first ever African American lead on The Bachelor, Bachelorette, and therefore that had to be a factor when selecting contestants for her. There are 31 men competing for time with Rachel, and Chris shared that this will be the most diverse cast yet. Chris said the Bachelorette producers took cast selection very seriously this season. "If you don't see yourself represented, no matter where it is, why would you go? Why are you going to put yourself out there and try and be on this show that you know you can't be on, or you're not welcomed at, or you feel like you're not? We've been working on this for a while. Now you're seeing the fruits of that labor. Rachel is our Bachelorette, and we have the most diverse cast ever. It's not a theme. It's just something you will see throughout," Chris said about the men. While the producers tried hard to get a more mature, professional group of men for Rachel, Chris also assured everyone that there will still be plenty of drama. Chris said that it will be an amazing journey for Rachel, but of course not without a few bumps along the way. Harrison says if a special man can help Rachel, who is used to controlling her own life, let go a little bit, then she may just get her happy ending. Along with having diversity, Harrison shared that some of the contestants will have interesting labels. News also spoke with Chris, who said they decided to just go with it and have some fun with choosing the men's labels because that is how fans will ultimately remember them. "Early on we weren't very creative, with descriptions. We were just like, you're a manager of this, or, you're a doctor, whatever. And then we thought, that's not really how you know these guys. You're not going to know Lucas because of what he does. You're going to know Lucas because he's a waboom. And same thing with Jonathan. He's an accomplished doctor, which should be enough. But you're gonna remember him as the tickle monster. I think what we realized is, let's have a little more fun with the labeling because that's who you're going to remember these guys as." Chris went on to talk a little more about the waboom guy, Lucas. "Lucas is one of those guys. You either want to murder him, or you really like him. I kinda want to choke him, like, stop. Enough is enough, let it go. You're at a 12, I need you to bring it down to a 4. Chris went on to say Lucas could very well be this season's villain, but also pointed out there are a few others who can also take that job. Lucas might be the guy you love to hate. But Lee is also the guy who's this very southern gentleman, sweet as apple pie, you know, nice as can be. But the way he talks and the way he says things kind of rubs people the wrong way." Chris also shared that there will be plenty of tears, some even Minnick style, and plenty of conflict. In case anyone has forgotten, Minnick style refers to former Bachelor Jason Minnick's emotional, all-out cry. It looks like this season will be very entertaining. Host Chris Harrison will be kicking off The Bachelorette with Rachel Lindsay on Monday night on ABC.